So the first question is, what was your knowledge of the material in each of the chapters prior to completing these modules? Be specific. In chapter 1, I knew basics of what criminology was, and I also knew what the Magna Carta was. In chapter 2, I knew some things about the parties, like, for example, the victims, the perpetrator, the law enforcement, the prosecutor. I knew a little bit about the trial procedure and the sentencing. In chapter 3, I didn't know anything prior to this module. In chapter 4, I knew about common traumatic injuries like gunshot wounds, stab wounds, burns, and trauma to the head. I knew very little about PTSD. I knew a little bit about depression and substance abuse. Question 2 is, what is your knowledge of the material in each of the chapters after completing these modules? Cite at least 2 examples of what you've learned from each chapter. Be specific. So in chapter 1, I learned what victim blaming was, and victimology theories such as Wolfgang's study of homicide and Carmen's theory of victimology. In chapter 2, I learned more about the juvenile court systems and how it works, and I got a better understanding of trial procedures. In chapter 3, I learned about the NIVRS and how that system works, and I also learned more about other reports such as self-report of crime and national family violence surveys. In chapter 4, I learned about the types of mental consequences such as crisis, impact stage, recoil stage, and reorganization. I also learned about acute stress disorder. Impact stage is what happens straight after the crime. Recoil is the beginning process of healing, and reorganization is the after everything, after the healing process. Question 3 is, has your understanding of the material in each of the chapters changed or improved? Be specific, provide examples. My understanding of the chapters have improved because I already knew some of the modules or the information in the modules beforehand, like in chapter 2 with the trial procedures. In chapter 3, I knew nothing before learning about the module, and now my understanding of that chapter has changed. The last question is, what areas do you still need clarification on? Explain. I personally don't think I need any clarification on any of these chapters because I think I have a real good grasp of each of these chapters and I understand them completely.